you're doing all the right things, but you're not seeing progress. You're eating healthy, but your body isn't changing in the way that you want to. You know how to build a balanced plate. You know what to do, but you're just not getting the results that you want. And why is that? Today we're going to unpack why you are not seeing results and progress with healthy eating. And today is actually the first episode of a 4-part series that we're going to be doing in September that I'm going to outline for you, so that way you can see the lineup of what is coming, because I'm so excited. But before we dive into the weeds, welcome to the podcast. My name is Megan Timpson, and this is the 1% Healthier podcast. 1% Healthier is where you come to learn how to have inner excellence, because you already know the basics, and we are here to level up and get the edge on our mindset, so that way we can excel and succeed in our health and our fitness and our business and all the goals that we have in this adventure that we call life. So I am so excited for this little series that we're going to be doing, because it is so important. It is so important to have a really good foundation and a really good mindset around our health and fitness, right? That's what we're after. We want to change the way that we think. But even when we change the way that we're thinking, it's not getting us to where we want to go, right? So today's episode is going to be on why you're not seeing progress with healthy eating. The rest of the lineup for September goes as follows. Next Thursday is why having a healthy mindset isn't working for you. You're trying to shift your mindset to be, I'm trying to be healthier, be fitter, wanting to be stronger, but it's backfiring in a way. You know what I'm saying? I know you know what I'm saying. We're going to talk about that next week. Then the following week, the third Thursday, is going to be how to eat healthy without tracking, and having a conversation around tracking. And spoiler alert, I'm not pro or against. I do believe that there is not one thing that is 100% perfect for 100% of the people, 100% of the time. And we're going to talk about how and why we would use tracking and how to eat healthy for performance, etc. That's going to be the third week. And then the fourth one, I am so excited for this one, how to stop hating your body. That one, it is going to be so good. And all these episodes are really, really interconnected. And so there's going to be overlap, there's going to be themes, there's going to be a foundation that we build, and a continuous conversation. And even with the mindset minutes that you're going to notice on the Mondays of September, they're going to play in as well. So make sure that you stay tuned, make sure that you follow along. Now today, I really want to dive into this healthy eating and not seeing progress and where we're getting stuck with this. And the two main things that we're going to talk about today are, number one, what is healthy eating? What does that actually mean? What does that mean for you? What does it mean for me? And then the second thing, which is the most important thing, which is going to set the foundation for the remainder of the month and forever, is our pyramid of priorities. All right. So when we talk about this series, I think it's really important to understand that when we talk about healthy eating in general, and when we talk about wanting to be fitter, faster, stronger, know that like I mentioned earlier, there's no one thing that is 100% perfect for 100% of the people, and it isn't black and white, right? I think 1% Healthier is really about finding the balance, finding the gray, finding the truth that we know, and holding on to what resonates and leaving what doesn't, and learning how to be confident within ourselves and our decisions and how we live, and not letting other people's opinions and how other people find success bleed into what we do, and then it is secretly a poison for our plant that we're trying to grow. So with that being said, when I do share advice on healthy eating, I want you to know I'm not telling you that you're wrong. I'm not telling you that I'm right 100% of the time. We're growing and we're evolving and we're changing. So I want to bring to your attention that if what you're doing is not working, the goal is to figure out how it can work. So if what you're doing isn't working, it's not like you're wrong, you're bad, it's X, Y, and Z is the problem. We need to figure out, okay, well, what can work for you? What do we need to change? What do we need to fix? What do we need to work on, tweak, and polish? Because at the end of the day, growing is constant, it is evolving. And I like to think that the answers are all within us. And really, we are like this clay that gets to be molded. We are able to constantly change and to be polished and to be perfected over time. So if what you're doing right now isn't working for you, that's okay. And I'm not expecting you to be perfect. I'm not perfect either, but I just want to say that because when you have the mindset that, I'm not being attacked, then it's much easier to be willing to grow, right? You know what I'm saying? And I think that goes for the mindset that we have in life anywhere. But I assume that you're pretty coachable, and growing up in sports, I know that was a big thing that gets drilled into your head is be coachable, be a student of the game, continue to learn, continue to grow. But I just wanted to share that with you because sometimes even I am like resistant to like other people telling me how to do things, but when I like take a step back and I understand, oh, they're trying to help me grow, and it's not that like I inherently am a bad person, it's just that what I'm doing isn't working and they want to help me succeed, right? That's at the end of the day. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I think that's an important mindset to share. All right, so back to what we're talking about today, which is what is healthy eating and then the pyramid of priorities. So when I think about healthy eating, I want you to know that there is a difference between healthy food and nutritious food. So when it comes to what is healthy eating, I want you to understand the difference between healthy and nutritious. When we think about healthy foods, we're often thinking in our heads of like the single ingredient foods, whole foods, as close to nature as possible. We're thinking about meats, dairy, fruits, vegetables, things of that nature. When we're thinking about healthy, what that is nutrient-dense foods, right? We're thinking about foods that offer our bodies the most amount of nutrition, the best macronutrients, the best micronutrients, vitamins, minerals. We're thinking about those things. So what I want you to think about when you think about those healthy foods is really attach the word nutritious. That is a nutritious, nutrient-dense food. Now, when you think about healthy food, I want you to think about big picture. What is holistically going to make you healthier? Not only physically in this moment, in this meal, but mentally, socially, emotionally. What is going to make you healthier? Let me give you an example of what this can look like in life. So let's say that you have a sandwich for lunch and you have a side of chips. Some people that don't have the edge like you and I do, they might look at that meal and they might think that is unhealthy. Why? Because they see chips, which is processed food, they think junk food, they think unhealthy, seed oils, the whole gambit. Therefore, they think it is unhealthy and unnutritious. But when we think about that, do we have to have chips all the time? No. Is it an occasional food? Yeah. Is it the most nutritious food? No. But is it healthy for me? Yes. Why? Why might it be healthy for me? Because when I think about big picture, I'm not only thinking about this meal, I'm thinking big picture, which means my relationship with food. There is no one food that is worse for you than an unhealthy relationship with food. I want you to remember that. There is no one food to be scared of, to avoid, that is unhealthier for you than an unhealthy relationship to food, because that can do a lot more damage than a bag of chips. Now, the bag of chips can also, in that moment, contribute to an overall satisfaction of the meal, so that way, when I'm done eating my lunch, I'm good, I'm satisfied, I don't need anything else. Versus if I didn't have it, then I might feel deprived, and that restriction feeling and that mental restriction is a thing, not only physical, but mental restriction as well. When you face that mental restriction, later on, you're going to be wanting to make up for that, and so you find yourself late night snacking. That's just like one way of seeing it. So where you restricted the chips earlier in the day, but then you go have them late at night, and then X, Y, and Z thing, what was really healthier for you in the moment? That's what I mean by big picture. Like, what's really healthier for you? A burger is just a burger. A salad is just a salad. Doesn't make us a good or bad person. It's just food. What is healthier for you in that moment? What nutrition does your body need? All right. Now, another thing that I want you to think about is with healthy eating, that it is different. There isn't black and white when it comes to that. Think about all the different cultures, all the different countries in the world, how they eat, the foods that they eat, the norm for them is different than our norm. It is different than yours. What I eat is different than you eat. And that's why it gets really frustrating when we see people online, they're posting their what I eat in a days. And you're like, I eat the same food as you. We are balancing our meals the exact same way. Why don't I look like you? And you can save as many of those as you want to and try and replicate them as many times as you want to. But at the end of the day, you will never look like another person ever. You might get stronger, like they are teaching you to be stronger, but you're never going to look exactly like them because you are different, right? And so I know how frustrating. I'm thinking back, I used to follow so many different people that would post their meals, what they ate in a day, and I would try and really replicate that because I thought that was like the missing link between my healthy eating and their healthy eating. They had results, they looked like how I wanted to look, so I would follow what they did, etc. But secretly in my mind, I was like, do they ever want to eat Oreos? Do they ever want to go out for froyo? Do they ever want to make muddy buddies with their brother? And I don't know, like, do they ever just want to lose it every now and then? Man, like, do they follow this literally every single day? Because at the end of the day, sometimes I'd be so tired of eating the same thing. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, like, I love a good beef and rice bowl, and we'll have that probably every single day. But there are times, and you probably know this, where it's just like, all right, something is missing, right? That satisfaction piece is missing. And that's why I'm talking about zooming out to the whole picture of health, right? If we're forgetting that health is also mental and emotional, it can be really easy to get stuck in just thinking about it in the physical sense, in your food and in our exercise. Which now brings me to the second topic that I want to talk to you about today, which is the pyramid of priorities. Way too often in health and fitness, and with other coaches and with other people that are sharing about health and fitness, we way over focus on the tip of the iceberg, the tip of the pyramid, which is the food and the fitness and the exercise plan and the meal plan and the results. The challenges are, let's get our 10K steps, let's read, let's drink our water, let's follow a diet plan, let's hit our macros, whatever it is. We're way focused on the top, because if we can just get the results at the top, then life will be great. If we could just get to our ideal weight, then we'll finally see the progress, right? That's why we focus on the top, because we're not seeing progress. So we got to work on the things that'll get us the progress. So we think, right? Like, that's why we keep running these same cycles over and over again, which is what I talked about on the Mindset Minute on Monday. You can run the same lap over and over and over again, and you're going to learn new things every lap, but you are always going to have the choice when you get to these decisions. Am I going to take another lap, or am I going to take a different path? And if you choose to go a different path, you have to know that it's going to be new and it's going to be hard at first, but it's probably going to be better for you, because that's where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to get the edge on other people that are taking the same lap over and over again. They're over focusing on the top of the pyramid. So the reason I bring up the pyramid of priorities is because people flip it around, right? They got it upside down. They got it a little bit backwards. And listen, I've fallen into it too, is we over focus on the what. We don't focus enough on the how. And what I mean by that is we way over focus on decorating our house and buying the furniture before we even buy the house, right? We have not even broke ground. We have not built the foundation to build the house to then furnish the place. But yet we think that the most important thing is how we're going to decorate the house. So we're going to go shopping. We're going to get this. This is how we're going to decorate our room. We're going to scroll Pinterest. We're going to find these room ideas, meal ideas, wink, wink, right? We're going to figure out all these other things, the details, when really we need to focus on the foundation. And you might be feeling in your life right now that, okay, I'm not seeing progress. I feel like there needs to be this internal shift. And you're starting to feel that pull to wanting to have a healthier mindset, because what you're doing is not working. But if the healthier mindset isn't working for you, then what do I do, right? We're going to talk about the healthy mindset next week. But when we notice that the pyramid is flipped, what do we do then? Because what is this foundation? What is the bottom? What is the middle? What is the top? And I'm going to tell you, because I want you to think about, if you're watching this, I'll put it on the screen. On the bottom level of the pyramid, that is your emotions, your emotional regulation, how you cope with stress, how you react to things, your self-image, your beliefs. That's the bottom. That is the foundation. The next level up is your relationship to food and body, your self-talk, your mental state around those things. That is the next big part of your foundation. And then on top of that is food, nutrition education, nutrition timing, getting down the nitty-gritties, your exercise plan, your fitness plan, the workouts that you do. That's there. And then at the very top is the result. You see how this is a big part of your foundation? And then it gets to the top, which is the results that we're after. And I want to give you this other really good visual example. Let's say that those results on the top of the pyramid, let's say that we're going to put them on the shelf right here. You're too short. You can't reach the top of the shelf. So you're jumping and you're jumping and you're jumping. And you're like, if I could just jump high enough and even get a little piece of that, if I could just get lucky to get a little piece, I could pull it down with me, right? So I would keep jumping and jumping, and I get tired. I'm like, oh, it should be easier than this. I just need to get a little bit higher. So we keep trying, we keep trying, we keep trying. But the thing is, we have not gotten to that level to successfully get the results that we want off of the shelf. So if we even did get lucky enough to get a little piece of that and pull it down with us, we don't know what's up there. We don't know how big it is. We don't know how heavy it is. We don't know the weight that those results are going to be. So if we did get it and we brought it down with us, remind you, you jumped for that. If you get it, you're going to come crashing down. Are you going to come down and be balanced? Are you going to be stable? Are you going to be able to sustain whatever it is that comes with the results? I know that you think that as soon as I get to my ideal body, as soon as I get down to that weight that I want, as soon as I get to my ideal, then I'll be able to have the healthy habits. Then I'll be able to have a healthy body image. I'll be able to be nicer to myself. I'll be able to have better self-talk. As soon as I get the results, then I can carry them. Then I can sustain them. You do not know that. You do not know that you're going to be happy once you get to the result. But what I can tell you is that you get to decide what you do right now. Like, you get to decide if you're happy right now. You get to decide if you can find joy in this moment. And that's what we really want to bring attention to, is you have to become the person. You have to build the strength to hold the weight of the success, right? If you won the lottery today, I don't care who you are, you probably would not manage that money well, right? Unless you were building the skills of wealth over time. If someone came to you and gave you this successful business that was operating and was perfect, and all you had to do was be who you were today, you would not continue to run the business as successful as you could if you built it from the ground up. If you practiced running businesses, if you ran smaller businesses and then bigger businesses and then stepped into this new role, you genuinely are not ready for that yet. That's why you're going through this preparatory phase of learning and growing. And I heard this the other day, that just because you're taking the long path doesn't mean you're taking the wrong path. And it might feel like I've been fighting for results for so long, and I feel like when I was growing up, I was the only person in my family that struggled with weight. I was the only person in my family that looked different, or my friend group, like I felt like I was big boned. I felt like I was the one that struggled with food. And if I look back on my life, I feel like I've always struggled with food. And if you feel like that, it's no wonder that we just want the results so bad, because we just want to not feel othered. We want to fit in a way. And I think until we recognize that this is layered, that the foundation needs to be built, then we're going to continue to run around and take another lap and get another meal plan and another macro count. And we're going to keep going around and around and around until we decide we're done running that lap. We want to go run a new one, another track, another path. And I say this with the most love possible, because I cannot tell you how many times I ran that lap for years and years and years. I just felt like if I got the results and I felt good about myself, then I'd be okay, right? As soon as I lost the weight, then I'd have a healthy relationship with food, because I've been following people that were like teaching me how to have a healthy relationship with food, and I was like, that's great. I can't wait to do that. I'll circle back to you when I'm 20 pounds lighter, because I'm here and I want to be here. And the crazy part was like, you know what it's like to be at that lower weight. And so you're like, I know I can get there. I just have to like put in the work, follow the plan, and I'm going to get there. Now, again, I'm not saying that one weight is better or worse than another, but remember that a dream body is not a dream body if it's a nightmare to maintain. And I know that that's like a whole other mental shift that we need to have, and that's probably more leaning into week 4 of this mini series. Ooh, again, I'm getting excited because there's so much to talk about and so much to unravel. But what I want you to know when it comes to I'm not seeing progress with healthy eating, the answers are within you. And my role is to really ask you the questions, to bring up some topics, to show you what's there, so that way you can dig and dig and dig and dig your foundation. Because Think about how you can spend so much time and money decorating the home, thinking about how you're going to decorate it, thinking about all the new ways and new tricks and different things that you see on the Pinterest or on Instagram that you want to implement in your own life. But if you do not have a house, it does not matter. I'm not saying that decorating the home is not important. It is, because your home would be empty without it. But remember, it would be non-existent without the foundation. That's why you need to build a foundation. Your home would be non-existent if you did not build it. You cannot have a beautiful home on the outside and the inside if you don't have a strong foundation. So that's why it's so important to work on. Because remember that these things, the foundation, these are the intangibles. This is inner excellence. These are the things that nobody can take away from you. Now, it's not going to be easy, and no one's really going to cheer for you for healing your relationship with food, working on the inner things, working on the mindset and everything that goes into changing the way that you think and changing the way that you show up in the world. At first, that's going to be really hard, and it's going to suck because you feel like you don't have a witness to it. But I want to be a witness to your progress and celebrate the fact that you're feeling that internal shift, and it's just about making that happen in your life and building that foundation. Because once you build the foundation, think about how amazing and beautiful that house can be, and how awesome you can decorate it, and how much progress you would be able to see if you would be willing to spend the time to build a foundation. You can go after your goals full force. You are already all in on life. Like right now, you are already all in. You do not need to snap your fingers and make a home in one day. It takes time to build that foundation. It takes time. And if you are willing to do that, and if you're willing to unpack, and if you're willing to dig and figure out what do you need to build your foundation, there's no reason that your home isn't going to be awesome and successful and going to last your whole lifetime. Because if you don't have a foundation, it will come crumbling down on you next month, next year, 5 years. But if you build a foundation, if you build your house upon a rock, it's going to last. But if you build it on sand, it's going to wash away. We know this, right? We know that. And taking it right back to the point, you cannot build self-worth on insecure footing. You can't build self-worth on insecure footing. If you're thinking that if I just looked a certain way, then my boyfriend, my husband, or my friends would like me more, then we are in for a very rude awakening when we are basing our self-worth off of something we can't control. We can't control how they think about us. Doesn't matter how much they love us, we cannot control their thoughts. And it's really frustrating when we think that, I would feel like a better person, or a better wife, or a better girlfriend, or a better daughter, or a better business owner, a better leader, if I just looked a certain way. When in reality, we're telling us that we would show up in a different way. And you can show up in a different way today. That is a decision that you make. Ready is not a feeling, it is a decision. And it's the same thing with food and with fitness, is you're not going to feel ready like you might feel like once I get to that ideal weight that I'm going to feel a certain way. No, you decide. You decide. And you can decide that right now. And I know it's probably really frustrating to hear, and we're going to continue to unpack this. And it's hard to unpack it on your own, but that's where the work is done, is asking yourself these hard questions that are really going to help you build. Now, to wrap up this episode, I want to share with you a few statements that might help you see that your foundation needs work. If you align with these statements, these questions, your foundation needs a little bit more attention before we start focusing on the top of the pyramid, on the food, the nutrition, the exercise, everything. We need to work on our mindset. So if these relate to you, then that's what we need to focus on next for you. All right, number 1, your food choices come down to how will this affect my weight? Number 2, you want to lose weight and eat healthy, but it all goes out the window at night or on vacation. 3, you can't stop eating once you start, so you think that it's better to avoid the foods altogether or keep them out of the house. 4, you know what to eat, but you lose motivation to eat right, especially after streaks of unhealthy eating. 5, you worry about eating good or bad, and more so, you worry about what other people think about what you eat. 6, you don't trust yourself around food. Period. If you don't trust yourself around food, what else do you not trust yourself with? 7, you take one step off track and it ruins your whole day or week or month. 8, the only way that you know how to get physical results is through tracking your food. That's the only way you know how. Number 9, you exercise to make up for what you eat, or you feel like what you eat undoes what you do for exercise. If any of those resonated with you, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But if you aligned with even just one of those, the foundational parts of your house need some work. And you can try and run around it all you want to. You can try, but the only way out is through. And you know that. You know that the only way out is through. To sit through the suck, to work through it, to become that person, to go through the refiner's fire. You know that the only way out is through. And we can try and run around the body image work, but eventually we're going to come right back to square one. We can try to run around the self-image and the relationship with food and just follow a diet and get the results that we want to, but eventually we're going to end up right back at square one. We can try and run around it all we want to, and we've been doing that forever, for our whole life, throughout college, throughout middle school, high school, growing up. It came up and it popped up in different areas, in different ways, but it keeps coming back. Because if you think about it, this healthy and sustainable lifestyle that we're after is healthy and it's sustainable in the big picture. Not just in the now, not just in the future when we think it will work out, but the whole thing. So we need to work on those healthy habits and behaviors and the self-talk and the self-image and the emotions and how we're reacting and all these things to make us a healthy individual, to go through the test of time, to build us a healthy house, to last the test of time. And then it can be more beautiful and we can adapt and change and grow. But if we do not have that solid core foundation within ourselves, then it's no wonder that we keep crashing down, right? So the 2 action steps that I want to leave you with. Well, before I give you those action steps, I want you to know too that if you resonate with any of those statements, that those things are not solved by food or by micromanaging or by tracking or by another meal plan. It's solved by sustainably building the foundation and working on the emotions and working on your relationship with food and body. I want you to know that just because the only way that you know or have experienced success or results is through tracking or is through a meal plan or is through like a certain plan or challenge, just because that was the only way doesn't mean it is the only way in the future. There's plenty of ways to build a successful business. There's plenty of ways to build a house. There's plenty of ways to be healthy. And it's about figuring out what's going to work for you. And again, we're going to continue to unpack this and unravel this. But the 2 action steps that I want to give you this week, number 1 is to ask yourself, this is a 2-part question, but the first thing is, how am I reacting? When I look in that mirror, how do I react? What comes up? What do I see? How do I talk to myself? And just take note of that. Maybe you want to write it down or just make a mental note. This is the common thoughts that I have. Or when I eat this food, or when I have this experience. It doesn't even have to be related to food and fitness. It could just be work in general. Am I snappy? Am I impatient? Like, am I operating out of like a sense of urgency, or am I filled with love? Like, how am I operating? How am I reacting? What is the energy that I have? And bringing an awareness to that. The second part of that question is, what am I making it mean about me? Let's say that you eat this food and you are reacting to it and you feel bad and you feel guilty. And then from that bad feeling and feeling guilty, what are you making that mean about you? Are you making it mean that you're now a bad person? Are you now making it mean that you're a failure? Are you now mean that it's making you give up? What are you making it mean about you? And this question, I genuinely got it from Ryan Nicole. She's on episode 22 of this podcast, and it is such a good listen. She gives great advice on this, on what we make these food decisions mean so much about us, and life decisions. So I want you to think about those 2 things. How am I reacting? And what am I making it mean about me? And the second thing that I want to invite you to do is to dig around this foundation and dig through those layers. Once you know, what am I making this mean about me? Dig another layer deeper. Why? Why am I making it mean that much? Who told me that? Where did I first believe that? And you keep going and you keep going. Why? And you're going layers and layers deeper to get to the core thing, because if we're really trying to get inner excellence, if we're really striving for greatness in life, we cannot do that by working on the outer things to fulfill us within. We have to do the inner work to then do and get the outer results that we want. It comes from within. And I know that you probably know this in your spiritual life or in work life. You know that it takes work. You know that you got to go through things to get out on the other side. But this is one of those things that it's time to work on our foundation. So I'm going to leave you with that in this episode. Next week, we're going to be talking about why having a healthy mindset hasn't been working for you and what we're going to do to change that. So if you've been thinking, I know the actions to take, I know what I should do, but I'm not doing it, or you feel like I'm trying to love my body, but I just don't love it right now, and I feel like if I accept where I'm at, that means that I'm giving up, or if you're trying to, again, be stronger and shift your mindset to like wanting to be healthier and appreciate where you're at, but it's not making you feel good, then we need to address that and talk about the mindset and what's coming up for you in that point. So again, we're going to unpack that. I'm so excited for this month. It's going to be a really good month of conversations. Speaking of conversations, I want you to DM me your light bulb moment on what resonated with you from this podcast. What thoughts came up? Did it bring up other questions that you have? Did it remind you of a different quote that you'd heard? I really would like to know what resonated with you. And if you've been enjoying this podcast, you can either leave a comment below on Spotify or YouTube, or of course, DM me on Instagram. That would be awesome to hear from you. And you can leave a 5-star rating and review. Make sure you follow along for the next episodes, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.